Welcome back. My next guest may be one of the stars of Shark Tank, but he really killed it on this season's Dancing with the Stars. He also happens to be one of the most powerful businessmen in America. Please welcome Robert Herjavec. I'm a big fan of Dancing with the Stars.
So
you were fabulous.
I had so much fun.
So great.
Thank you.
So great. And you did.
I left too soon.
I know you left too soon, but you were fabulous. Really, really great. And I know it's probably for everybody. It seems like it's kind of a crazy experience. How would you describe the experience that you had?
Oh my gosh, Meredith, people don't realize I was on that show for 75 days, and I rehearsed every day for 4 hours a day, every single day.
Was that typical, or is that because you're like a type A person?
I'm a bit of a type A, and I really wanted to win, but it was great. I'm in unbelievable shape. If I took my shirt off right now...
Go ahead, go ahead! Come on!
Here's the crazy things you do on that show. At one point, I'm sitting there, and Patti LaBelle comes by, and she goes, "I'd like all of you to take your shirts off for one of my promos." And without even thinking about it, you take your shirt off because it's Patti LaBelle.
And everybody else has taken their shirt off. You know, in the beginning,
exactly.
Exactly. But I know that you were disappointed in the way that your relationship or rumored relationship with Kim was handled on the show.
Well, it's funny, Tom. I was because it was very genuine. We got along great, and we had a great time. And at the very end, Tom Bergeron came up to me and said, "In 20 years, it's the only time somebody said something to him they didn't have a comeback to." He said to me when we got kicked off at the very end, said, "So I hear this rumor you have a relationship with somebody. Can you tell us finally how you feel about that person?" And I said, "Tom, I'm not sure I feel that way about you."
But you've been very protective of whatever relationship you may or may not have, and I respect that.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
What people don't realize is, you know, they made a big deal out of me saying I love you and all these other things, but, you know, you work with people, not just Kim, but you work with all the dancers for 75 days in a row, 6 hours. I mean, you're going to get very close to people. We got very close to Suzanne Summers. Noah has become a very good friend of mine. You get to know people.
So you love them all the same?
I would have loved them more if I won. I still love them.
You went through a divorce recently after 25 years of marriage, and that's a long time, and it has to be painful for anybody. But at one point, you considered suicide after that.
Well, you know, I used to think I was the strongest person I knew. I felt like nothing would ever faze me. I've gone through stuff you can't imagine, and I always went forward and never felt infallible or weak. And then all of this stuff happened, and we had and not that I'm good and she's bad, but we had a challenging time with the kids, and I didn't see my kids for a while, and it was hard. And, you know, mental health isn't talked a lot about because it's perceived as a sign of weakness, and I kind of hit rock bottom, and I didn't know what to do. And, you know, at one point I woke up at 2 in the morning and really lost, and we all find our own way out of stuff like that. Some people go to Hawaii, some people buy a car. I called my priest, and I said, I need to go help another human being because right now I can't even help myself. And I wanted to go to Africa and help the Ebola patients. And he said, okay, step back from the ledge. How about a homeless shelter? And I'm the kind of guy, and I hate to admit this, that if I saw a homeless person on the street, I wouldn't even notice them. I would step over them, not to be mean or anything, but it wasn't part of my world. And that night I was at, he sent me to the homeless shelter in Seattle, and I was working in the soup kitchen, and I went from that to doing search and rescue missions because there's people in the community that can't even come to the shelter. Anyway, I was fixed in 3 days because my time for self-pity is very small, but I stayed for over 2 weeks because I had a great time, and I found an incredible ray of happiness. It is remarkable how people society thinks are at the very end have so much joy and so much love. I had a great time.
It also sounds like Not only did you get through the self-pity and the pain you're going through, but it also sounds like you evolved a lot as a human being. When you say prior to this you would have walked, and that's such an honest and raw thing to say.
I was so honest, and I said to them, I'm not here to help anybody else. I'm just here for selfish reasons to help myself. And through that experience, it just changes you, and it's remarkable.
It's truly remarkable. When we come back, wait until you hear this guy's amazing rags to riches story. We'll be right back.